Welcome to the show where we don't just talk about the highlight reel, we dissect the DNA of the most explosive, season-defining moments in sports. This is about drama. This is about absolute, unadulterated shock. And this week, we are zooming in on a play that was so audacious, so brilliant, and so historically significant that it has to be considered an act of football anarchy. We are talking about a single, breathtaking run, a 99-yard sprint that didn't just win a game, it violently swung the entire momentum of an evening, rewriting the record books and leaving the greatest quarterback of his generation looking absolutely helpless. Ladies and gentlemen, we are breaking down the longest pick six in Jacksonville Jaguars history, and the longest by a linebacker in NFL history, Devin Lloyd's 99-yard masterpiece against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's set the scene. It's Monday Night Football. The atmosphere in Jacksonville is electric, thick with anticipation and the smell of high-stakes football. The Jaguars, against all expectations, are playing like a true contender. They are a defensive turnover machine coming into the game with a league-leading pile of takeaways. And the Chiefs? They are struggling, uncharacteristically sitting at 2-3, desperate for a statement win. The game itself is a heavyweight slugfest. It started with the Chiefs punching the Jaguars right in the mouth, racing out to a commanding 14-0 lead. The Jacksonville faithful were nervous. The familiar shadow of their long losing streak to the Chiefs, stretching all the way back to 2009, was starting to creep over the stadium. But Trevor Lawrence, the Golden Boy, fought back. He rallied the troops, connecting with his receivers and scrambling for a game-tying touchdown to make it 14-14. Now we hit the late third quarter. This is the pivot point. This is where champions are made, or where dynasties crumble. The Chiefs, marching with that methodical, terrifying efficiency we all know, have driven deep. They are on the Jaguars' 3-yard line, second and goal. The score is tied 14-14. Everyone knows what happens here. Patrick Mahomes is lining up to give his team the lead, putting them up 21-14. This is a gimme. A layup, a done deal. The tension is unbearable. The stadium is roaring, but beneath the noise, a silence of expectation hangs heavy. The Chiefs are about to score. They have won 23 straight games when leading by 14 or more. A touchdown here feels like the dagger, but the Jaguars' defense, which has been nothing short of phenomenal this year, had a trap set. And the star player of that unit, the AFC Defensive Player of the Month for September, Devin Lloyd, was the bait. The defensive coordinator dials up a brilliant play. It looks like a heavy blitz. Lloyd, the linebacker wearing the conspicuous number 0, steps toward the line of scrimmage. He feigns the attack. He shows blitz. He sells the aggression, forcing Mahomes to make a rapid pre-snap read and look away. Mahomes sees the defense and, just like every great quarterback is trained to do, he immediately looks for the quick, easy throw, a slant to receiver Juju Smith-Schuster near the goal line. The window is tight, but for Mahomes, it's routine. He snaps the ball and fires the pass, but Devin Lloyd? He was playing chess while the Chiefs were playing checkers. He never fully committed to the blitz. At the exact last second, Lloyd dropped out of the rush. He retreated, perfectly disguising his movement, slipping into the passing lane like a phantom. He was at the 1-yard line. Mahomes didn't see him. He had been completely fooled. Hook, line, and sinker. The ball, intended for Smith-Schuster, lands directly in the waiting hands of Devin Lloyd. It is a stunning moment. A turnover on the 3-yard line. A defensive stop that saves a guaranteed touchdown. But Lloyd is not finished. He has the ball, and he has 99 yards of pristine green turf between him and the promised land. Now, the true, exhilarating theater begins. Devin Lloyd, an AFC linebacker, has to run nearly the entire length of the field. And who is the first man in his way? None other than the greatest player on the planet, Patrick Mahomes. This is the second time Lloyd makes Mahomes look silly. Mahomes, desperate to prevent the pick six, angles for the tackle. He is famous for his hustle, for making plays even after an interception. But Lloyd, with the ball clutched tight, executes a veteran move. He hits the brakes. He delivers a subtle, sharp juke. Mahomes, running at speed, dives at a patch of grass that Lloyd has already vacated. A failed tackle attempt. Mahomes is left sprawling, watching the nightmare unfold. The track meet is on. Lloyd is now sprinting down the Jaguars sideline, the entire stadium collectively losing its mind. He is running a long way, as he would later say, reflecting on the sheer exhaustion of the effort. He gets two huge, unsung blocks that save the touchdown. First, a crucial escort from defensive end Josh Allen, who sheds his own assignment and clears out a defender. Then, as Lloyd crosses the 50-yard line, he gets a block from a safety that forces the last defender, running back Kareem Hunt, to take a wide, ineffectual angle, but the final test comes inside the 5-yard line. Wide receiver Tyquan Thornton, hustling with a speed that could catch a blur, dives at Lloyd, trying to punch the ball out. Lloyd, exhausted but locked in, secures the ball, holding it like a precious jewel, and he crosses the plane. Touchdown. The stadium explodes. The Jaguars, who were moments away from trailing 21-14, now lead 21-14. It is a 14-point swing delivered by a single, perfectly executed defensive play. This isn't just a highlight, it's a massive psychological blow. It's the longest pick six in Jaguars history. It's the longest by a linebacker in the regular season in NFL history. It is a legendary moment of defensive execution and sheer will, the sheer audacity of the play. The bait, the drop, the juke of Mahomes himself, the 99-yard sprint. It tells the story of Devin Lloyd's ascendance. He entered the game with a league-leading 4 takeaways, and now he has 5. He has officially evolved from a high-potential player to one of the most dangerous defensive playmakers in the entire NFL. He is operating on a different plane of existence. And what about the Chiefs? This play was the ultimate microcosm of their early season struggles. A penalty-ridden night with 13 flags for over 100 yards culminated in a spectacular turnover at the worst possible moment. The Chiefs coach, Andy Reid, admitted it was a great call by the Jaguars defense, and Mahomes could only lament, "I've got to find a way to tackle him or slow him down after the interception." It's a moment of rare, public humility for a quarterback who rarely looks less than dominant. The pick six gave the Jaguars a lead they would ultimately hold on to, thanks to a crazy, wobbling, game-winning touchdown run by Trevor Lawrence in the final 23 seconds. It was a victory of resiliency and opportunism, 2 traits defined by Lloyd's run. They beat the Chiefs for the first time in over a decade, and they moved to 4-1, tied for the lead in the AFC South. This play, this 99-yard sprint, was not just about 6 points. It was the moment the Jaguars announced they were a new force. It was the moment Devin Lloyd established himself as a certified superstar. And it was the moment Patrick Mahomes looked as mortal as a human being can look on a football field. The play will be replayed forever. The call will be studied by defensive coordinators for years. It was a single, perfect sequence of football strategy, physical ability, and unbelievable drama. So as you watch that highlight reel, and you know you're going to watch it on repeat, don't just see a run. See the feint, see the drop, see the juke on Mahomes, and appreciate the sheer will it took for a linebacker to run for what he rightly called a long, long way. That, my friends, is the sensational, explosive truth behind the most breathtaking defensive play of the season. If you lived that moment, if you felt the shockwave of that 99-yard sprint, then you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button right now. And let us know in the comments where you were when Devin Lloyd rewrote history. Did you predict that brilliance?